celebrate the completion of this beauty. When Don Cabral and I first saw this at Hunter's Point, we agreed that the best thing to do was to let it burn, salvage the metal. This has been a long, long project, full of a lot of adventures for people and for unexpected consequences. Like every time you took off a piece of wood, you discovered there was another piece of wood to take off. It was so long, in fact, that 4 of our volunteers passed away during this project. One was Don Cabral, who was really a mainstay in doing Caboose 13, but he did take all of the early photographs of the work. Don Brewer spent probably the last 2 or 3 years of his life scraping paint in here. One of the worst possible jobs, but he volunteered to do it. Harold Menser, who was my predecessor as president, passed away while this job was going on. And until he was diagnosed with cancer, he was down here every weekend. And after he finished chemotherapy, he was still down here every weekend. And of course, the last one was Steve Case. And on the first day here, became a very, very valuable member of the crew. He unfortunately was diagnosed with a brain tumor and passed away a couple of years ago. They were all really nice guys as well. In fact, one of the real advantages of working on something like this is you wind up being part of the team.
Oh man, boy, it's really, really cool. Should be saved, but boy, oh boy, what a project.
Ow! Okay. Boy, it's worse. Yep. All clear. Here we go. There we go.
Gonna go, no, we're not down. Oh, shit.
Caboose sink was found at a gentleman's house by the name of Lawrence Todd. Lawrence is a man that collects lots of iron, knick-knack type of things, and interesting stuff. I was at his house one day and he said, "Hey Jeff," he says, "I think I might have an old railroad sink in the barn. Would you come down and tell me what you think?" And so we took a hike down to the barn and looked, and lo and behold, in the corner of the barn is this Caboose sink. I'm sure it's probably the sink that came out of that Caboose or one just like it. The odds are 1,000,000 to 1 of finding that sink. And I told Lawrence, I said, "This is unbelievable. We found that sink for our Caboose here." And he says, "Well, if you guys would like that sink," I'm definitely going to donate it to you for your project. Looking it all over and everything, it was in perfect condition, no breaks, no cracks. It's very thin cast iron. The fact that it survived is a miracle.
all about recognition of this team, the guys that did the real work on this caboose. What I'd like to commemorate here is that this caboose, this beautiful caboose that you see here, really has been the catalyst for this organization to embark on new projects. That's what's really important to me, I think, as well as everybody else. This organization has always, you know, in 30 plus years, always recognized history of the NWP and the P&SR, but it took a project like Caboose 13 and this project to bring the people together, make this a real cohesive organization. And that was done. That's been done. I think a couple of things I want to acknowledge here. The people that did the work, of course, to me, that's the most important of anybody. Without the team that Charlie's talking about and the people that passed away since this began, this never would have happened. But this group did this, as well as 13, of course, before this, with very small numbers of people working hard and very small number, really, of people involved in the whole project. That, to me, is phenomenal, phenomenal. So I want to recognize a couple things here. First, the people that do the work get first credit. But we've had 145 people, mostly members, 145 people who contributed donation of funds, donation of money for this specific project, 145 different donors, okay? And that is in my bookkeeping about all of that, over $29,000. That's a phenomenal amount of money to be raised by this organization for this project alone. And I think none of that would have happened, of course. Nobody would have contributed a dime to this project if they didn't believe that something was going to happen, right? Now, Charlie just mentioned that when we had the good fortune of having this, we didn't say good fortune maybe then, of having this donated to us, right? Various people said many things about the condition of this, right? And the condition was not so hot, as you can recognize, okay? Thank goodness it wasn't as bad as that boxcar, but it was close. And Charlie, of course, at the time, yes, he did say it should be set afire in order that we can salvage the metal parts. That was his analysis of it, right? But I think more importantly, one person, among others really, but one person in particular saw the potential for this particular caboose to be restored. And he saw the potential, really, he sees potential in everything. And I think really what I want to commemorate, what I'm really here to commemorate, is the leadership, the vision of Jeff Miller. And you're not done yet. You can't. One more thing about Jeff. Okay. One more thing. Okay. Jeff always says, he looks at something, you know, and we don't see much. Jeff says, I remember this one when he said, this is a diamond in the rough. Diamond in the rough. Now, I don't know what kind of diamond he's on. But diamond in the rough, that was one of his things. But the other thing is that he has an eye for finding, some people would say scrounging, but anyhow, he has an eye for finding parts, finding anything that he thinks might be useful for any of these projects, right? And he has a knack for that when it comes, no matter what it is. Trucks, no matter it's plates, kingpins, whatever it is, Jeff can go find it, whether it's in Oroville, Virginia City, Nevada, anywhere. He goes on scouting expeditions, whether Virginia thinks it's a good idea or not, he goes, and he comes back with something. Or if he doesn't come back with something, he goes back again and bugs whoever it is to get it. He labeled himself in one of these great write-ups as being excitedly passionate about this caboose, excitedly passionate and excitedly aggressive. I don't normally think of aggressive as an adjective for Jeff, but he can be and he has been. So this little binder that we're going to have in the archive consists of all of the write-ups about this project, okay? And it really is a phenomenal collection of documentation and pictures that Jeff and Fred Cadoni put together. And it covers the period all the way from the beginning of this, from 2006, when it arrived, all the way up until now. And, you know, people nowadays have blogs, lots of blogs. They blog, new fathers write about their babies being born, all that stuff. Okay, that's wonderful. this is even better. This is even better. Because this is the baby that was born and taken care of here by Jeff and his crew. So, that's all I'll say. I want to thank everybody who donated. That's from my perspective, right, the donors. More importantly, we really need to recognize that the man who was head of our preservation committee, which is Jeff, okay, had the vision on these projects. That's incredible. And to me, I call him the spark plug of the organization. So, Jeff, thank you.
Andy. Thank you very much.
Bye.